Hey guys, it's Siobhan with ToKittyandBeyond. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing the February monthly readings. A little bit late, but better late than never. These do span the entire month of February, although they are coming out around the mid-month point. So keep that in mind. Also, these are for your sun, moon, and rising, and I do recommend that you watch all three to get a better understanding of the overall energy that you're working with in the month of February. Keep in mind that these are general readings, not personal readings, so just take what messages apply or intuitively resonate with you and leave the rest. If you would like a private one-on-one reading with me, you can find the information at the link in the description box below on my website, ToKittyandBeyond.com. So go ahead and use the timestamps down below to jump to your sun, moon, and rising sign readings. Let me know what you think and have a great rest of your month. Bye. All right. Hi, Aries. Welcome to your February monthly reading. So let's take a look at the cards here. You have the Magician, the Hierophant, the Four of Wands, and the Nine of Cups. Overall, this is looking like a very positive month for you guys. The Magician energy feels to me like there's this new beginning in creation. So you're learning something new, but it's not necessarily something that you've never done before. This is something that you're mastering instead. So it's a new chapter or a new phase, but it's an existing skill, or it's something that you're continuing to hone or refine. The Hierophant also speaks of this type of learning. So this could be moving from, say, for example, an apprenticeship into a full-time position. This could be moving from an employed position to a leadership position. You guys might be going from one level of study to the next, say for example, graduating from one course and going into the next one. So this feels very much like to do with learning or to do with some kind of experience that you're gaining. And as you continue to gain experience, you are feeling satisfied, feeling fulfilled, feeling gratified is the word that I'm hearing as well, gratified, feeling grateful and feeling fulfilled within yourself that your efforts, which have been sustained over what feels like a long period of time, are starting to show results, are starting to show this manifestation of the physical expression of the skills you've developed. So you're recognizing within yourself that you have these skills, and you may even be celebrated by other people who are recognizing that you've leveled up, that you've ascended to a new level, that you've graduated, that you've been promoted, whatever it happens to be. And this could be purely metaphysical. This could be that you're learning something spiritually on your own spiritual path with no external guideposts or milestones. However, you can feel the difference, and you've been studying, you've been applying, you've been learning through the experience, and you've been refining and honing your skills, your talents, your knowledge, and there is going to be some kind of a celebration. So whether you choose to celebrate that for yourself in some small way, or you're choosing to celebrate that publicly or with your friends and family, it's definitely advised to do so, especially with the Four of Wands and the Nine of Cups. The Four of Wands is a celebration, some kind of an event, some kind of a gathering of sorts, to recognize moving from one stage of development into the next. The Nine of Cups, it can also signify hospitality and sharing, so having more than enough and feeling fulfilled within yourself, understanding that you have this abundance, and then being able to, or wanting to, share that. So I really see this month for you involving lots of progress forward. They're just now drawing my eyes to all of the yellow throughout these cards. So the Magician, the Four of Wands, and the Nine of Cups are predominantly yellow, and they're also drawing my attention to the yellow in the Hierophant card on the crown, the scepter, and the robes of the monks. So this really feels to me like progress towards your goals, which relates back to the solar plexus chakra, which vibrates at the color yellow. So this is, again, progression towards your goals, taking action, apprenticeship into mentorship, into leadership, right? So you're going through these different stages. And this is also developing a really strong sense of self. That's coming through right now as well. So again, with the Magician card, there's a lone person standing there. The Nine of Cups, there's a lone person standing there. So your sense of self is really being developed strongly. And February is giving you this opportunity to be able to see yourself more clearly as you can kind of look back at how far you've come, or you can look at the physical manifestation of the things that you've managed to create through the knowledge that you've acquired, through the studying that you've done, through the application, etc. I'm being drawn to the two pillars, either side of the Hierophant, which kind of reflect the two, or rather the four pillars in the Four of Wands. So it feels like stability for me. So stability and really having this nice balance that helps to essentially hold up the structure of the knowledge that you've acquired or the skills that you've developed. So essentially like the work that you've been doing, the manifestations you've been working toward, the fulfillment you've been striving for is built with these really solid pillars. So this is something that feels to me like it's going to last a long time. It's not some kind of a fleeting satisfaction or a fleeting sense of fulfillment and, okay, what's next after that? This feels much more long lasting. This feels like something you've invested a lot of time and energy into, and you're proud of yourself. That's another thing that's coming through the solar plexus chakra is pride, positive pride, aligned pride, because you know that you deserve it, because you've worked hard to cultivate these this knowledge, this skill, this discipline of self. You've taken action and you trust yourself more with that. You've built up the confidence, the self-esteem, etc. So this, again, the development of self is really helping you to stop and take a moment and acknowledge how proud you are of everything that you've been able to achieve. So if you haven't done that yet, I definitely recommend taking a moment this month, and no matter how small the achievement may seem to you or how large it is, really take a second and acknowledge what you were able to do, how that has helped and changed you, and how that has helped to express your divine self-expression, how that has helped to cultivate your sense of self. And allow yourself to feel pride for that. Allow yourself to feel that sense of fulfillment and that sense of gratitude. Okay, now let's take a look at your oracle card. You have TikTok. The essential meaning of the card is timelessness, divine timing, and immeasurable time. When humans created time, everything changed and contracted. People have come to look at life in a linear way, imagining that the past is behind them and the future is ahead of them. But what if that isn't true at all? What if everything, creativity, beauty, chaos, and order were happening now in a glorious timelessness? You have all the time in the world to co-create the life you desire. So release your agenda. Let go of your need to shape each moment to your expectations, knowing that what is yours will never be withheld from you. Miracles are here right now and always show up when you need them, right on time. I absolutely love that, Aries. So it feels, again, to me like this is divine timing. That really circles back to the energy of the Magician. You've manifested something in divine timing. So if you've had to wait for it, if you've had to work for it, if you've had to be disciplined, in your apprenticeship type of, metaphor here, it's all happening exactly as it needs to, and you're hitting these milestones or these checkpoints or these level ups exactly when it's predestined to. It's partially free will, it's partially destiny, which is just higher will of yourself. And so Everything's unfolding exactly as it's meant to. Nothing's going to pass you by. And if you haven't gotten to the point yet where you feel the sense of personal satisfaction and pride, and you're not seeing the physical manifestation of the achievements yet, then this is an indication that it is coming. Because like I said, this feels like a long-lasting energy. It feels like anything that you've invested into this line of creation is, if it takes a while to show up, it's going to be worth it, because it's not meant to be fleeting. If you get it easily, it's easier to become dissatisfied with it and to start striving for something else. So this is much more, it's a higher level than that. It feels like a much more mature approach to having your desires be fulfilled. And again, that means, working towards it slowly over time so that you have a real sense of pride and personal satisfaction around that whenever it shows up. All right, so that is your reading for February, Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Let me know how this resonated in the comments below. Leave the Aries emoji or a fire emoji down below to let me know that you enjoyed the reading. And I will see you next month. Bye, guys. All right, hi Taurus. Welcome to your February monthly reading. Let's take a look at your cards. You have the Knight of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles, the Ten of Wands, and the Magician. So, similar to the Aries reading, I'm seeing first and foremost a lot of yellow. The Magician was also in the Aries reading, so if you have Aries in your top 3, so for example, your Sun, Moon, or Rising sign, I would check out that reading as well. So Taurus, the Knight of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles here. This feels like you're putting in a lot of effort. The Ten of Wands feels like this could be a little bit too much. I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing that you're putting in effort, but if you've taken on too much, or you've invested too much, or you've said yes to too many things and taken on all of this responsibility, it can actually be a detriment to your ability to manifest, because you're keeping yourself sort of weighed down, overburdened, spread too thin. And I'm hearing the quote from the Lord of the Rings, like, not enough butter spread over too much toast. I mean, I'm probably butchered that, but it's along those lines. So it's spreading yourself too thin is essentially what that means. The Knight of Pentacles feels optimistic to me. The Page of Pentacles also feels optimistic, but a little bit more trepidatious, a little bit more conservative than the Knight of Pentacles. So it feels like maybe you've gone into this with high hopes and expectations, and maybe even a nice plan of action and how you're going to do it. And then once you started moving forward, that Page of Pentacles, that little bit of doubt or insecurity in your ability to sustain this may have come up as well, leading to the Ten of Wands, feeling overburdened, feeling as though you don't have enough time or enough energy or enough resources to be able to tackle all of what you need to do. And it could be weighing you down. It could be feeling a bit heavy at this time. Now, I also, another message is coming up here, and this could be a completely separate message for somebody else here in the reading. Maybe not for everybody. It feels like you may have had to buy a lot of things, quite literally, investing a lot of money in, like, I'm seeing specifically like home building construction things, like planks of wood and drywall, and I'm seeing like caulking for the bathroom, cabinetry. So maybe you're doing a home renovation. Again, this is not for everyone, but if there's somebody out there doing a home renovation or planning a home renovation, or you're in the midst of it right now, this is something you've manifested because you do desire to have this change, or maybe you're building an entire home. It is a big order, right? It's a lot of money, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of investment. It is taking on a lot. And that's why that Ten of Wands could be there as well. So you're feeling a little overwhelmed with everything that's needing to be done and all of the time and money that you're putting into this. Ultimately, I think that it's going to turn out well. It's going to serve you well in the long run. It's going to be worth the investment, even if you're starting to have doubts, even if you're starting to feel like, your coffers are running dry, so to speak, like you've invested all of your savings into this. I do see the Magician as a good omen, especially in, the last position here. It's kind of saying that, yeah, you're going to go through this period where it might feel a little bit too much or overwhelming, but ultimately that 10 is going to turn into a 1. So it's going to come to a completion cycle at some point. The house is finished, eventually is done, and then you move into the Magician card, which is a new beginning, and you're continuing to manifest. You're continuing to find balance and have that ability to enjoy what you have created. Now, for the rest of you, like I said, this just feels like a bit of, I wouldn't say mundane energy, because the Magician being here is not mundane. This is manifestation. This is magic. This is creation. You're doing something physically that's creating your desired result on the outside. So that's really not mundane at all. That's alchemy, that's transmutation, that's manifestation, law of attraction, it's magic. But it can feel very mundane. It can feel as though, you're just kind of plodding along and dealing with all of these very physical things, and you might be worrying about the money, or you might be worrying about the return on your investment. Again, I would recommend to, yes, be mindful and be discerning, but it's not necessarily worth your time to be expending that level of mental energy or emotional energy on the fear of not having enough in the long run, because I see that Magician energy as you feel you create, as you think you create. So be mindful of what you're using your mental and emotional energy toward, because you're not just investing with your money or your time, you're also investing with your energy. So focus where you want that energy to go, and it's going to be much more beneficial in the long run, and all of that investment is going to come to something that's going to be ultimately fulfilling, because they're taking my eyes to the roses on the Magician card, all of the flowers, the garden that he's in, and it feels beautiful. It feels like a moment of pure joy, being able to sit and experience the beauty of what you've created, and knowing that you did that with your balance, with your awareness, with your intention, and with your action. So use your resources wisely this month. And what you can do is put down the worries. Be pragmatic, be practical, but also don't invest energy in those worries. Put those down. Let those go. And that'll serve you better in the long run. Okay. They're drawing my attention to the landscapes in the cards, specifically the Knight of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, and the Ten of Wands. And they're showing me like this very gradient type of landscape, almost flat ground. There are some mountains in the background in the Knight of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles. But again, I feel as though the path forward is actually very stable, and it's a lot less arduous than you are expecting, or it's a lot less trying than you're kind of mentally preparing yourself for. And so again, I think that Knight of Pentacles being so optimistic, the landscape is much more even, whereas the Page of Pentacles being a little bit scared and insecure or doubtful in his own sort of lack of knowledge, is showing more of that mountain in the background, but it's still beautiful and fertile. There's a forest, there's a field, both of which, the Knight of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles, I'm seeing the field in the background. So this feels like very fertile ground that you can plant in. This is going to, whatever you're building, whether it's an actual house or a renovation to your home, or whether this is something else entirely, whether it's non-physical, maybe it's metaphysical, maybe it's just something else. But whatever it is, it's fertile land. So whatever you plant is going to grow, and it's going to bring a lot of abundance for you. So choose wisely what you invest in. That's really what I see here. Okay, so let's take a look at your oracle card. You guys have the fork in the road, number 13. So the essential meaning is time to make a decision, considering the consequences as you prepare to act, and owning up to your obligation to make a necessary choice. The oracle's message is every choice has a consequence. You've arrived at a fork in the road and are being asked to come to a decision. Will you further your dreams by choosing left or by choosing right? Will you take the road less traveled or the one well worn by others who have come before you? This is your choice and yours alone to make. Circumstances and other people will not make it for you. Be present and do not avoid this junction, for it is an important crossroads. Take heart, as no matter which path you choose, you will have a rich and meaningful experience. I absolutely love that because it's kind of what I'm seeing here. It does feel like you're having to choose where you put your energy, where you put your time, where you put your money. And either way, whatever the landscape holds, it's fertile ground. Whether it's nicely even and flat with not very many obstacles, or if there's some mountains to climb there, or if it's a beautiful lush garden, whatever it is, the landscape, whatever road you happen to choose, it's going to be full of rewards. It's going to, like it says here, you will have a rich and meaningful experience. And I love the word rich here specifically because you've got 2 Pentacles cards and the Magician. So Taurus, as an earth sign, and you're practical and you're focused on your physical aspects, heed this information that whatever path you choose, wherever you choose to wander, where you choose to lay down, this ability to build or grow or cultivate what it is you're looking to manifest, you have the capacity to create riches. You have the capacity to see the return on your investments. So choose wisely, but don't worry about the choice. Don't stress yourself out over it. Don't go into perfectionism, which prevents you from taking any action. Consider the options, weigh up what's going to produce the best results, and then use your energy wisely to manifest that as you go along. All right, so there you have it, Taurus. I really hope that this supported you and brought you some clarity through the month of February. Leave your Taurus emoji or the bull down below in the comments to let me know that you enjoyed the reading, and we will see you next month. Thanks so much. Bye. All right, hi Gemini. Welcome to your February monthly reading. Let's go ahead and jump into your cards. You have the 8 of Wands, the Temperance card, the King of Swords, and the High Priestess. So the first thing that I notice from all of these cards is the color blue. So blue is the energy of the throat chakra. This is communication, self-expression, authenticity, truth. It's also, self-expression. I can't remember if I mentioned that one. Yeah, so self-expression, it feels like a big month for that. I'm also noticing a lot of qualities of air here, not just from the King of Swords, but also from the 8 of Wands. So the energy of air is to do with the mind, and it's the quality of the intellect, the quality of communication, learning and teaching, as well as thought. So what I'm seeing here is Gemini, you are an air sign, and there's a lot here to do with learning is what I'm seeing, but learning at a very, very high level, and learning that it could even be coming in sort of outside of what you would think of as learning. So when we think of learning, we think of, going and seeking out information, maybe Googling something or taking a course or going to school or talking to a mentor, something like that. Now that's on the table here as well. The King of Swords and the High Priestess do speak about those types of learning. I'm also seeing a different type of learning. It's a more subjective, non-active, passive, that's the word I was looking for, passive form of learning. And this is happening not just through trial and error, which is what the Temperance card is speaking about, but also through just the movement of time, the movement of events in your life, the movement of the change in your thoughts as well. So this is specific to somebody out there, not necessarily for everyone, but you may be stepping into channeling abilities. I'm seeing that for someone here. So being able to channel information and learning through what you channel. That happens a lot for me, and I'm a Gemini rising, so I can definitely speak to that. The High Priestess, the King of Swords, Temperance, and Eight of Wands, all of these are just kind of screaming at me being able to channel information. So I would definitely recommend, if you've been kind of having these nudges come through, or hearing information, or knowing information, or visually seeing it, whatever the case is, you write it down, record it, think on it, apply it, whatever it, however it suits you in your journey. But that's what I'm seeing, is being able to channel and having this divine information come through for the purpose of your evolution and your learning here. Like I said, though, this learning is high level. So it's not beginner. It's not even intermediate. This is, I would say, master level. Much more high level. So in the scale of like human measuring of knowledge, information, and schooling and things like that, this wouldn't be like the bachelor's degree or even the master's degree. This would be more between master's and PhD level. So this is very high level learning. So this could be physically learning through those types of structures. But what I'm seeing here is more of an intuitive type of learning. Like I said, psychic energy is what I'm really picking up on here from somebody out there, or maybe even for a big group of you, or all of you, who knows. But there's a lot of high level information, high level knowledge, high level realizations that you're coming to, or that you are channeling through you, or that you're applying through action. The Temperance card speaks of patience. It speaks of trial and error. It's finding the right combination. And I do see a lot of angelic guidance with that process for you. So there's definitely psychic protection is what I'm seeing, especially through the third eye, because they're drawing my mind. They're drawing my mind's eye to the crown chakra and the third eye chakra of all of these figures that I'm seeing, all of the images of the people here, the Temperance, King of Swords, and High Priestess, all wearing different kinds of crowns or circlets. So this is 6th and 7th chakra activations, learning in those areas as well. And like I said before, also the throat chakra. So, the 5th, 6th, and 7th chakras. So there's still information that's hidden behind the veil. That's what the High Priestess is speaking about. The King of Swords is very rational. So where the High Priestess is intuitive and holistic and sort of non-binary or non-dualistic, the King of Swords is a little bit more compartmentalized, a little bit more rational, a little bit more logical. Now I see these two actually balancing out perfectly for you. So the Temperance card is those two different cups, mixing those together and finding the perfect balance. So you do need both, and you're learning to develop both of those to a very high level so that you can accurately see the information that's available to you. Now, I want to stop for a second and just feel into the energy of the Eight of Wands here. This feels like fast-moving energy, and I mean, that's what the Eight of Wands is. It's, all these wands flying through the air really quickly, but they're also drawing my energy, or my energy. They're drawing my attention to the river in the background of the picture, and it feels like a fast-moving river, like strong currents. So the current of energy is kind of pulling you along really quickly here, and it's taking you to where you need to go. It's taking you to the pool of temperance, really, because if we look at the card, the Eight of Wands is that river is moving along, and then it's kind of going to go into the Temperance card pool here. So all of this fast-moving energy, the current is taking you where you need to go. So I think some of this is just releasing any kind of resistance to that. Just let yourself float. Let yourself be carried. Let yourself be drawn to where you need to be going or to receive the information you need to receive along the way. Ultimately, you're where you need to be when you're in that flow, when you're in that current, and you're also where you need to be when you're arriving at the destination, which is, that ultimate pool of knowledge. So if things feel like they're kind of going along without your accord, is what I'm hearing, or without your participation, that the reason being is because you've set all of this into motion before the fact, and so now it's really unfolding, and it's unfolding quickly. So just let yourself go through that and know that you're divinely guided. I see a lot of protection here. I see a lot of guidance. I see a lot of support energetically, both in the physical and in the non-physical. So you've got angels, you've got spirit guides, you've got ancestors, you've got mentors, you've got physical teachers, you've got people who can support you and give you either more information or help you to see the connections between things, or maybe even to confirm or validate to you the knowledge that you're already, that's coming through very naturally. So let yourself go for the ride, really is what this feels like. Just let go, let yourself go for the ride, enjoy it, because it's working for you. All of this is for you, and it's cultivating and manifesting through you. They're drawing my attention also to the fact that the 3 character cards that we have are all facing front. And that means that they're focused in the present moment. So anytime that a character is facing directly at you, it's an indication that they're in the present moment. They are present right now, right here. That's where their focus is. Not on the past, not on the future, right here, right now. So bring your focus to the present moment, especially when things are feeling like they're rushing through you or rushing around you. Just bring your energy and your focus to the present moment. Ground in that space while at the same time reaching up and connecting to the divine. So you're grounded. It feels like the bridge between worlds, right? You're anchored and rooted on the earth, but you're also connected to the universe. And being the bridge between worlds is what opens you up to being a channel. I know that firsthand. That's what I do for a living. So, this is something that if you're interested in developing more of this skill or in continuing to hone what you've already done here, reaching out for somebody who can help to support you in that, or to activate that within yourself and just let that carry you where it needs to go. So set the intention and then see who shows up, type of thing, or who you're attracted to. Because this, like I said, the current is moving really quickly. So it's going to take you exactly where you need to go. Love that for you, Gemini. Love that for us. Now let's take a look at your oracle cards, and you got 2. So far I've been aiming just for 1 for each sign, but you got 2, and I was told specifically to take both. The first one is breathe, and I love this because it's this feeling of meditation and peacefulness, and it's all blue, which is again relating to all of the other cards that have that blue energy there. I just heard blue ray as well. So this could be Syrian energy. This could be, blue ray can also be to do with the throat chakra and the soul type of divine communication. So being, in that energy of the throat chakra is also about breath. So breathing in, breathing out, meditating, and allowing all of that information to come in through the upper chakras. Okay, so let's take a look at card 29, breathe. The essential meanings are patience, waiting, going slowly, wellness, meditation, and trust. The oracle's message is patience in all things is called for right now. What do you need to do when you're in a rush? Slow down, of course. Meditate and trust, breathe and repeat. Humans cannot exist without drawing breath. Now is the time to allow the life-giving element of air to replenish your body, your being, and your very essence. Stop to smell the roses, breathe in the sunlight, and release the darkness. Miracles will appear. Okay, so this makes a lot more sense, especially since I've chosen to position the breathe card right over top of the 8 of Wands and the Temperance card. So 8 of Wands is fast moving, rushing energy, like a rushing river. Temperance is patience. So it's exactly what this card is saying. Patience, slow down. So if things are feeling rushed around you, or if you feel kind of swept away, like I said, it's like relax, let go, surrender, just be in the present moment. Be exactly where you are. There's no rush. Everything is exactly as it needs to be. And you are being carried, you're being supported, you're being guided to where you need to go. I love that. I also didn't even associate that we were talking about the air element at the beginning of the reading, and breathe is the air element. Breath is air. Didn't even, for some reason, my brain just didn't make that connection. So now there you have it, another element of air here. So connect to the element of air. February is Aquarius season, which is also an air sign. So, we've got lots of air energy here for you to connect to. And I also heard the element of air. So connect to the element of air. So go outside. That's so funny. They're showing me those little spinning things that are multicolored and they're on a stick and kids run around and play with them. Yeah. I don't know what those are, like little mini windmills almost. Connect to the element of air in a creative way. So maybe you go outside and you fly a kite, or maybe you just sit in the breeze, or maybe you do some breath work, or maybe you are cleansing your house using smoke, which is kind of the air element. So yeah, connect to the element of air and see what that brings up for you. Now let's also look at the other oracle card that you have, which is 37, the never-ending story. And the essential meanings are self-criticism, the wounded ego, and unnecessary dramas. The oracle's message is there is a story woven through the imperfect fabric of life that tells of hurt and loss, rejection and humiliation, self-loathing and arrogance, and all manner of suffering born of unnecessary dramas. It is the old story whose refrain is that you cannot do this, must not go there, should not say that, lest your world come crumbling down. Today, know that none of this is actually true. The sky is not falling. The voice you hear is just a small, scared, conditioned part of you that got stuck in a lie, wants to protect you, and needs to be seen as a victim. Love that lost piece of you. Fear is all it knows. Distorted guidance is preventing you from being true to yourself. You are not your story, and the narrator is simply the voice of your fearful part, small and vulnerable and easily soothed. Okay, so the never-ending story, especially since it's sitting on top of the King of Swords and the High Priestess, this could be in the realms of thought. This could be held in the subconscious mind, and there may be some more layers of this coming up through spontaneous healing, is what I just heard, spontaneous healing. So as this comes up, just let it come up and be addressed. Hold space for this part of you. Breathe as these old stories are being brought to the surface so that you can actually take a look at them and interact with that part of the self that has been stuck in those untruths of that victimhood and self-sabotage and fear. Hold space for that aspect of you with compassion, with love, and also being very rational and logical. So you can even ask yourself, is this thought true? Is this thought productive? Is this thought absolutely 100% verifiable? If the answer is no, then don't believe the thought. Also, nurture the part of you that has thought that, right? Because that's the part of you that needs the support the most. Okay, there you have it, Gemini. That is your reading for the month of February. Let me know how it resonated in the comments below. If you liked the reading, leave your Gemini emoji or the wind blowing emoji down below, because that seems to be relevant. And if you'd like to book a reading with me, you can find all of my services and options at ToKittyandBeyond@gmail.com. Much love, guys, and many blessings for February and beyond. We'll see you next month. Bye. All right, hi Cancer, welcome to your February monthly reading. Let's go ahead and jump into your cards. You have the Chariot, the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Cups, and the Eight of Pentacles. So the Chariot card feels, well, first of all, the first thing that jumped out at me was that this is the card of Cancer. So this is your energy coming up directly first thing in your reading. The next thing that I noticed is that the Chariot and the Knight of Wands, and also the Knight of Cups for that matter, are all involved in movement, travel, and even like vehicles as well. So the Chariot can represent a road trip or travel or a vehicle, specifically if that vehicle is land-based, so like a car. The Knight of Wands and the Knight of Cups, I'm being drawn to the horses themselves rather than the figures on them. So again, this could be like a mode of transportation or a means of travel that is kind of being encouraged or maybe necessary this month. Maybe it's for work even, because the Eight of Pentacles is the work card. So this could be something that you're needing to do for work. You're traveling for work, or you're going to a new location for work, or even that your work is involved with vehicles in some way. So it's interesting. Yeah, so movement forward is definitely present here. It could feel like you're kind of going in two different directions though. The Chariot card has the black and white Sphinx that pull the Chariot, and they tend to kind of want to diverge and go in different directions. I'm also seeing that here with the Knight of Wands and Knight of Cups. Right in the center of the reading, two horses going in completely opposite directions. So, they also reminded me fire and water are opposites as well. So, Cancer, you may be kind of at odds with yourself this month, or have two different directions that you want to be going in, or that you need to be going in. Maybe there's two different options or two different aspects of yourself that are needing different things and requiring you to meet those needs in completely opposite ways. It's almost like one part of the self wants to stay still, the other part wants to move, one part wants to be gentle and feeling, and the other part wants to be strong and action oriented. It's like these complete opposites within yourself, and this duality is being brought to the surface for a reason this month. So take a look at it, sit with it, welcome it in, acknowledge these two parts of yourself, or these dividing forces that are being brought to your attention, and sit with them and ask them what they're trying to tell you. They're drawing my attention to the glyphs on the charioteer's skirt, which I have never noticed in all the years I've been reading tarot. I've never noticed that there's little glyphs on the skirt of the chariot. You can't really make out what they are. I can barely make out what they are. But this, to me, it feels like, I just heard writing on the wall. And I was just about to say that they feel like hieroglyphs to me, or even runes. And hieroglyphs were literally symbols written onto walls. So it's like the writing is on the wall. I think that saying means that it's obvious, or something is like right in front of your face. But they're also showing me road signs. It's like road signs when you're driving down the highway. It's written right there on the billboard, and you can take a look at it, and it tells you where to go. So something is more obvious than maybe you're giving credit for, or that you expect it to be. So even though you might feel like you're being pulled in two different directions this month, take a look at what's kind of obvious, or like what's hidden in plain sight, because something is going to be there directing you and helping you to bring these two diverging parts back into unity, so that you can direct where you need to be going. And maybe it's one direction one day, and maybe it's the other direction the other day, or both of those things can happen even in one day. From moment to moment, we can change direction, and that's fine. I don't see that as a problem for you here. I think that it's either way, it's going to lead you to where you need to go. But just addressing that within yourself. Okay, now they brought up hieroglyphs, and now they're drawing my attention to the pyramids in the Knight of Wands. So you may have an association, either present or past life, with Egypt. I know a lot of people do. A lot of souls that are here to support the progression of humanity and the evolution of consciousness on the planet did, a pit stop in Egypt, so to speak. So whether you're actually physically traveling there, or you've been there before, it may have activated something within you. Yeah, they're taking me into past lives here already. Just even looking at the cards, I'm seeing Rome and I'm seeing Egypt. It's like these two mighty powers. And I believe they existed at around the same time. I'm not a historian. That's not my forte. I would probably benefit from doing some more historical research, because I do see a lot of stuff from past lives and I don't necessarily know the context or the time frames. But anyway, so these two, like these mighty powers that be, and it feels like they're kind of not at odds with each other necessarily, but they're two completely separate empires or kingdoms or domains. So these may be things that you're being drawn to. This could be information that wants to come up from these time periods or these specific past lives. These could be different aspects of yourself or new skills that are wanting to be developed. The Knights are also messengers. And since the Eight of Pentacles is here, and that's a skill card, I do see this as potentially, skills being activated from, your latent DNA, maybe in your ancestry or from past lives, past life experiences that you've had. The information is coded into the DNA and can be unlocked by your consciousness. So if you're interested in doing any past life work, I would recommend that, doing a meditation for it, maybe a past life guided hypnosis session or something like that. I can give you access to those past lives through my skills as well, because I see them and then I share them with you as we do the Reiki sessions. Sometimes past lives will come up in soul realignment. But the point is that there's different aspects of the self here. It's almost like opposite lives. And the soul will do that, right? The soul will incarnate into a life that learns one thing, or that you experience one thing, and then maybe you're like, okay, I get that. Now let's do the opposite of that. So there can be contradictory knowledge or contradictory skills or complete, opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of your soul level experience here. I feel like both of these are necessary, because that's what completes the karmic cycle, is having the knowledge of the two different sides of the equation. So these skills may be coming up for you this month so that you can apply them. Yeah, and specifically, this could be through your work. This could be something that you do for work, or it could change the way that you work or how you work or what that kind of thing. especially if it involves travel. Okay, so let's take a look at the Oracle card here. You guys have Loyal Heart, number 35, and the essential meanings of the card are fidelity, loyalty, and devotion. So the Oracle's message is evidence of loyalty will appear in your life. Others will prove they are faithful to you, and you will in turn commit fully to them. There is sure and abiding certainty in your heart. Know that Spirit is always loyal to you, no matter the outer circumstances in your life. Trust and have faith, for you're an eternally loved being, always divinely protected and divinely directed. Okay, so this is interesting. Perhaps this diverging energy and these two sides of yourself, light and dark, or left and right, or up and down, are almost concerned with, if I go this direction and I'm not entirely invested in this one thing, am I, being disloyal? The answer I see here is no. You have a loyal heart and you're allowed to explore these different options. So maybe it's like you worked for this job for so long and now you're being given an opportunity to do a different job somewhere else. And it's maybe something that's more aligned with you, or a skill that you'd like to experience or develop. And you're questioning, if I leave this other job, am I being disloyal, quitting and going somewhere else? And it's like, the heart is saying, no, you are loyal, so don't worry about that. It's really the experience of these dualistic aspects, the experience of these opposites that's important for you at soul level. The other thing that I noticed here in the description of the card is divinely protected and divinely directed. So again, there could be some direction that's coming up here. And this may call you to make some changes. You might be directed to move somewhere else, or to travel somewhere, to receive the codes of that land, or to awaken ancient knowledge that you have within your DNA. And stepping on that ground or stepping into those sacred sites can really help to activate those things within you. This could also be that you are, to me, it feels almost like being drawn away from a relationship to focus on your work. And there could be some questioning within yourself of, am I being disloyal to my partner? Am I being disloyal to, this relationship by focusing on my work. But if you're being divinely directed to do that, then that's the phase or the cycle of this part of your life that you need to really, it feels like an adjustment. It doesn't feel like an all or nothing to me. So it doesn't feel like you have to give up a relationship to do your work full time, or, to really dive headfirst into your goals. I think that both things can be achieved. It's just having a balance here and coming to some kind of, I don't want to use the word compromise because that's not the right word, but maybe some kind of agreement yeah. So, a little bit of a side note there, but if this isn't relationship oriented, it's just more like there's two things that you're wanting to do and you're kind of confused as to which direction to go. Just follow your heart. Your loyal heart is going to guide you exactly where you need to go. Keep doing what feels good. Keep doing what feels fulfilling, what feels expansive, what feels freeing. Follow your intuition, follow your inner guidance, trust your gut. That's what I'm seeing here, because it's going to help to develop this natural inner compass that helps to direct you where you need to go and when you need to go. And if it changes direction abruptly, that's fine. That's just what your soul is needing at that time. All right, so that is your reading, Cancer. Let me know how it resonated for you in the comments below. Leave the Cancer emoji or a friendly little crab to let me know that you enjoyed the reading. And if you would like a personal reading or any of my spiritual services, you can check that out at ToKittyandBeyond.com. Much love in February and beyond, and we'll see you next month. Bye, guys. Hi Leo, welcome to your February monthly reading. Let's go ahead and jump into your cards. You have the Ace of Pentacles, the King of Swords, the Temperance card, and the Hanged Man. So, Leo, this month for you is feeling like there's a little bit of new beginning, there's a little bit of progress being made, there's some consultation or some learning involved here that I'm also seeing, but at the same time, there's this process of trial and error that can feel very slow going. And I'm also seeing a need for patience, because as things move a little bit more slowly, it's going to take some trust for you to really be okay with the pace that this is evolving at. So yes, there's a new beginning, but it's going to be sort of a slow start, right? The same day you plant the seed is not the same day you enjoy the fruit or the flower. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here for this month in February. It's the beginning of a cycle. It's the beginning of a phase here with the Ace of Pentacles. I do see you branching out or adventuring out or doing something new that you haven't done before. And the King of Swords is there to teach you. He's there to mentor you. He's there to give you information about how to walk this new path or to explore this new area or to have new knowledge about a specific thing. Now, the Temperance card also helps you do that, but this is more so through your own experience, whereas the King of Swords is there to teach you through information. The Temperance card is you learning through what works and what doesn't work, and you're trying to find the right mixture or the right combination of things to ultimately get you to the results that you're seeking to create. The Hanged Man may require a little bit of a sacrifice, and that sacrifice might just be accepting the slower pace. It might be allowing yourself to trust the process. It might be giving up something that gives you short-term results for something that gives you more long-term results that meet your goals a little bit more in an aligned way. So that sacrifice doesn't have to be something to be afraid of. It doesn't have to be something that you need to give up and it's a loss. This kind of sacrifice feels to me more like an investment. And that's what the Ace of Pentacles is saying as well. So invest your time, your energy, and your money wisely this month, because the more that you invest now, the more of a result you're going to see in the months to come. Specifically, I'm seeing in like spring and summer. So if you're watching this, obviously in the month of February, this is the end sort of cycle of winter in the Northern Hemisphere. So by, I would say around June or July, they're showing me that there's going to be sort of an outcome from the energy that you've invested or that you've experienced around now. So that's exciting, something to look forward to. You'll have to report back, let me know how this unfolds for you. But it feels expansive. It can feel a little bit limiting in the process that you're in right now, but in the long run, it's going to be expansive, it's going to be supportive, and it's going to lead you down the path to really something that you've been wanting for a long time, either in the back of your mind or something that you've been wanting for a long time or hoping for. I'm also getting this feeling of hoping for it so much that you're almost scared that you won't get it, or you're holding yourself back from taking action towards it, or you were in the past. So if there's this sort of fear around getting to that destination or having yourself meet that goal or produce that result, then I would kind of sit with that and explore that a little bit. I think the Temperance card can really help you with that, and the Hanged Man can help you with that as well. Really sit with yourself and go deeper into the kind of meaning behind that and why there may be resistance there to something that you really greatly desire, and how you can open yourself up to allowing that to come to fruition, to allowing yourself to move towards that consistently, or to move towards that in a way that is sustainable, because that's what I'm feeling here, is it needs to be sustainable. Okay, so what else am I seeing here? If there's any confusion, any doubt, any fog, because that's what they're showing me, is the fog. They're showing me the gray in all of these cards and the clouds. So this can be brain fog. This can be not seeing something clearly. This can also feel a little bit lackluster. It's like, I'm putting all this time and energy into something and I'm not seeing any immediate results. And so it can feel almost boring or sluggish or slow. Again, that takes us back to the Hanged Man energy. That's what that represents. So instead of fighting against or resisting the energy of that confusion or that doubt or that boredom, because it might show up as boredom, instead explore what you can adjust. And again, that's what the Temperance card is encouraging you to do, is make small adjustments. So just keep trying different combinations, just keep seeing what's going to work the best. And like I said, this is going to be trial and error. The whole aspect of trial and error is that it involves error. We have to try and see things not come the way that we expected, or we have to try something and have it fail, or we have to try something and have it not work out the way that we had intended or hoped. The reason for that is so that we can eliminate that as an option of something that will support us in the process. And by eliminating it, we are honing in on what is going to work. So it's like that idea of fail forward. So just keep trying and adjusting and making these different little tweaks and changes that are ultimately, like I said, they're going to lead to a greater awareness, new skills. All of this experience is culminating into wisdom as well. And I also see maturity. So this growth is not just going to be reflected in the result that you get in the outside world. It's also being shown to me as an internal maturation. So you are maturing, you are learning through these experiences, you're gaining wisdom from that, and thereby, with that knowledge, with that information, with that experience under your belt, you can make more mature and effective decisions down the line. So that, like I said, very exciting, positive reading. Let's take a look at your Oracle card. You got number 17, the Fates. So this is, fate, karma, acceptance, that there are things you cannot change, and knowing what those things are. So the Oracle's message is, the Serenity Prayer sums up the meaning of this card. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So there are things in life you will never have control over. The conditions brought on by the evolution of the collective, by nature, and by your past experiences may be fated, preordained by spirit for a greater purpose you cannot understand in this lifetime. It may not be in your cards to understand why certain events occurred, but you can accept the mystery and work with what those events and your current circumstances have to teach you. This is your wisdom contained in the Serenity Prayer. Okay, I didn't look at the meaning of this card before doing the reading, so I love that it's referencing pretty much exactly what I was talking about in terms of wisdom, maturation, growth. You're gaining awareness of something even beyond what you can understand about it. So again, that's almost like that feeling of surrender and acceptance that the Hanged Man is calling you to have, the patience that the Temperance card is calling you to have, and the learning and wisdom that the King of Swords is calling you to have. So all of these characters, all of these support systems and guides, let's call them, are either part of yourself or they're outside of you, but either way, they're basically just supporting you in being able to understand why things happened the way they did, but sometimes that will take hindsight. So look back later on and see why this part of your journey was the way that it was. You may not understand it now, but you will down the line. So just keep trying and changing what you can and accepting what you can't, because that's ultimately going to empower you in the long run. I love that. So there you are, Leo. There's your reading for February. I hope that it resonated and supported you. If it did, leave the Leo or a lion emoji in the comments below so I know you enjoyed the reading. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And we'll see you next month. Bye, guys. All right, hi Virgo, welcome to your February monthly reading. So let's look at the cards. You have the Devil card starting out the reading. You have the Five of Cups, the Six of Pentacles, and the Knight of Wands. So first and foremost, what I see here is breaking some ties. So Virgo, there may be an area that you were giving where you were not receiving in return in a balanced way, where the energy that you invested or that you gave to somebody else was squandered in some way or not used appropriately, and most importantly, not returned or reciprocated. Now, this is not to say that you're being conditional by expecting other people to return the favor or to return the energy or the love or the support that you've given them. That's not the whole point of this. The point is that you cannot continue to give and give and give when you don't have enough to give and nobody's giving to you. So it's really highlighting to me this imbalance between give and receive. And this could even be financial. I see emotional here as well, but the emotional could be a result of you having given to someone, invested in someone, supported someone financially, and then them not reciprocate when you need it or when you're asking for your money back. Maybe it was a loan or something like that, and now you need it, or you just want it back because it's yours to begin with, and it's not being reciprocated. Somebody's like run off with it, or they've spent it already, or they've just been irresponsible with it. That's the energy that I'm getting, is that somebody here has been irresponsible and somebody here is over responsible. Now, why do you think those two things come together? Well, because they're two sides, two extremes of a polarity. Over responsibility and under responsibility. They're naturally going to be drawn to one another and to have these types of interactions and dynamics so that each individual can learn to play out this distortion or this dysfunction. The ultimate goal here at soul level is for each individual to achieve balance within themselves, understanding that they don't need to be dependent or over-dependent or under-dependent. Does that make sense? So essentially what I'm trying to say here is that each person understands that they're responsible for themselves. And that's it. And we can support and love others, but ultimately we're not responsible for them unless you're quite literally a parent who has a dependent child. That's a different story. And only if they're below a certain age, right? So this is calling you to address where you have taken too much responsibility for other people, trying to protect them from their own choices, trying to protect them from their own impulsivity, trying to protect them from the consequences of their actions and their past choices. When those things are not within your control, those things are not your responsibility. And there's nothing you can really do to change those things. You can try, but ultimately all you'll do is waste your energy. Because that consequence is going to come back eventually to that person. You can prevent it in that moment by saving them, by bailing them out. But that soul didn't learn the lesson. And actually, you've deprived them of learning that lesson by trying to protect them. I know it comes from love, but when we look at them as a soul, an empowered divine creator who has chosen their experiences for a higher purpose, we can start to understand the bigger picture and see that this soul has chosen these circumstances for a reason so that they can learn and grow and evolve from them through the experience of allowing this fate or this karma or this consequence to play out. And the same goes for you. By taking on the responsibility, you're depleting yourself, and that's a lesson in and of its own. So break the chains here. That's what I'm seeing. Breaking the chains, and it might be painful. It might mean that you need to take the loss and walk away. It might mean that you need to grieve for a potential that was never fulfilled. It might mean that you need to set some boundaries, which can be painful. It might mean that you need to not see that person anymore or talk to them as much. You get to determine how malleable or rigid your boundaries are. Each of you is different who's listening to this reading, and it's general. So you get to choose of your own free will what's best for you. The most empowering choice is going to be the one that honors your core needs and allows you to grieve and process the support that you didn't get or the support that you gave that was not returned. So the big message that I'm seeing here is let it go. Let it go. Let it be. Step back. Take yourself out of the involvement with this issue, with this person, with this situation, and it feels like a repeating theme. So especially if you've been here before, if this is not the first time, there's a reason. It's because your soul has chosen to play out this polarity, this dynamic. It's chosen to express in this distorted way so that you can see what doesn't work. So that you can experience it. And yes, that may be painful. Your soul is not trying to punish you by having these experiences. It's you trying to understand something from a deep, subjective, experiential level. You have to go through it to really get it. But eventually, you get it. If you have to go through it one time, if you have to go through it 100 times, eventually you're going to get it. Eventually you're going to say, no more. I deserve better than this. I'm not going to chain myself to the limitations of others. I'm not going to burden myself with the responsibility of taking care of other people when they choose to not take care of themselves. So step back, detach. Detach with love. That's what I would recommend. Detach with love. Take a step back, shine your love and forgiveness on yourself first. And then when you're ready, you can send love and forgiveness to the other person in the situation or people. But only when you're ready. You've got a lot to give, Virgo. I see that. You've got a lot to give. But even those who have a lot to give, ultimately, if you give too much without reciprocation, you're going to run dry. Especially when it's coming from this lower vibrational disempowered place of, I need to control everything around me. I need to help people to fix their lives because seeing them struggle causes me pain. That's what I'm getting here. This is a really deep shadow work type of reading for you guys this month. So, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This isn't a pretty one, but this feels very necessary, and it feels Plutonian. That's the energy I'm getting from it. It's like the energy of Pluto, death, rebirth, crisis. It's forcing you to kind of address something that needs to die and be reborn. It needs to change. It needs to alter in some way. And with that comes grief. That's why the Five of Cups is there. So allow yourself the necessary period of grief to process this experience and these emotions that you have, so that they don't continue to weigh you down, so that they don't continue to influence why you do what you do. Because it's not so much about what you do, it's why you do it. The same choice can be both a positive choice or a negative choice depending on our motivation. I just got off a call just before this with a client who, she has such a loving, giving heart, and she finds joy in expressing through helping people. There's two sides to that energy though. The first one is her divine soul expression, which is seeking to help people because it brings her joy. And it brings other people joy. So it's a win-win situation. But the same action, when interpreted from the wound or the programming that I need to fix people to feel worthy, or I need to fix people so that their chaos doesn't spill over into my life, those motivations are not in alignment. They're not the most empowering choices, or rather, not choices, they're not the most empowering motivations. So that choice becomes maybe not so aligned. So it's much more important why we do things rather than what we do. It's the energy we bring to the exchange. And the subconscious ulterior motivations are what dictate what frequency that energy exchange is predicated upon. So let's take a look at your oracle card. You have Treasure Island. I really like this. First of all, because it's number 9, and 9 is an ending. It's an ending of a cycle. It's the closing of a chapter, and you're moving into something else. The other reason that I love this is because you do have the 6 of Pentacles here, and what I felt was that this might have been you overgiving financially. And so it's almost like this Treasure Island energy is coming in to help to recoup the losses if there have been any, and it might not be right away. But eventually, when you finally understand why this pattern was repeating or why this experience happened, and you choose to shift how you approach the people in your life or yourself in this situation, that's where the treasure is. So it might not even be literal treasure. Oh, Kitty's moving around on the desk, if you can hear her. Kitty. Moving, she's sitting on the quartz. So this might not even be literal treasure. This might be the treasure of the knowledge that you've gained, which is priceless. It's priceless. So Treasure Island, the essential meanings are the law of attraction, bringing dreams into fruition, the results of positive thinking made manifest, abundance appearing as if from nowhere, and financial gains and the sharing of good fortune. So the oracle's message is you've worked hard and acted upon your unwavering belief in abundance. And suddenly, in the midst of it all, you hit the jackpot. You have uncovered the map to buried treasure and tapped. Ooh, that's interesting. I almost read tapped as trapped. You see, that's the devil energy in there. That feeling of being trapped and disempowered, the chains that bind you to the situation, the person, or the thought pattern, or whatever it is. Okay, so you have uncovered the map to buried treasure and tapped the unlimited potential within you. When you must hone... Oh my God. What you must hone now is your ability to recognize when X marks the spot, because some of these golden opportunities may be obvious, but others may not be so readily apparent. Trust your intuition to light your way now as you enter this truly prosperous phase, where all the long, hard work navigating your inner life is now paying off externally. In all aspects of your life at this time, you have good fortune. Don't forget to enjoy it and share it with others, as treasure shared multiplies like magic. Okay, so because you have the 6 of Pentacles and you have this Treasure Island, and they're both talking about sharing with others, like I said, sharing with others for you can be a positive expression, but knowing why you're doing it is the most important thing. And the feeling that you get from it is the most important thing. Because that dictates, that's basically showing you where the frequency is at. Is it an empowering choice or is it a disempowering choice to share? So that's what I'd like you to tune into a little bit more and have discernment between sharing when it's appropriate and sharing when it's not. All right. So that is your reading for February, Virgo. A little bit of a rough reading there. So take it with a grain of salt. Not everything need apply. Take it how it resonates, and I hope that it serves you. So I'm sending you lots of love and blessings for February and beyond, and we'll see you next month. Bye. All right, hi Libra, welcome to your February monthly reading. Let's take a look at your cards. You have the Emperor, the Two of Cups, the Nine of Pentacles, and the World card. So right off the bat, Libra, this feels like a really empowering time for you. I feel you stepping into both your masculine and your feminine energy polarities. So really allowing yourself to enjoy and express and embody and feel, and at the same time allowing yourself to take action and feel productive and fulfilled through your motivation and your steps towards your goals. So this is a really nice balance between these two things. And I see this could be potentially reflected back to you from your relationships outside of yourself. But ultimately what I'm getting here is that the focus is on you. So you are focusing on you. You are practicing embodying these different expressions, these different polarities, these different sides of yourself. And in doing so, you are creating a lot of wealth and abundance. Now, this could be physical, or this could just be the experience of abundance through the energy of enjoyment, through the energy of gratitude, or even through the energy of reciprocal relationships. So I see a lot of beauty here. I see a lot of connection. I also see a lot, like I said, of empowerment. So there's a lot of maturity. Oh, that's another one. Yeah, maturity. Solid, stable, mature relationships and mature expressions of yourself. I absolutely love that for you, Libra. So let's go card by card. So the Emperor card here, again, this is the masculine polarity, and it's very much being in your power. It's taking control. It's being in command. It's feeling confident with your capacity to be able to rule over your empire and all of the choices and things within that. So I do feel a strong sense of protection. I feel grounded boundaries. I feel, again, a sense of stability and security here as well. They're drawing my attention to the white beard. So this represents wisdom to me. They're also bringing my attention to the fact that it takes a long time to grow a long beard. So I think this can also represent patience and longevity. So this is something that will take, or has taken a long time to get to or to cultivate, but ultimately that growth is, showing up in a physical way. So you can experience it, you can see it. It's as plain as the beard on your face if you're a man and you have a beard. But if you're a female, this is just a metaphor for how this process of growth and evolution is maturing over time, and therefore so are you. Now, the Two of Cups, again, it feels very balanced. It feels very beautiful. It feels very loving. So this can be mutually reciprocal relationships. It's not always romantic. It can certainly be platonic, friendships, colleagues, just connections that you have, family, and this feeling of fulfillment. So being able to show up and feel safe within your relationships, to really be yourself, to set your boundaries and communicate your needs with confidence, with clarity, with security. That's what I'm seeing, is like this really empowered expression of self and how that relates to your relationships with other people, i.e. other selves. So there's a really nice balance here. And because of that balance, it's like it's opening up this realm of potential for you to be able to tap into and utilize the infinite energy. So it's almost like when two become the whole, or when two are recognized as part of the whole, it's like it opens up this 0 point energy. And the 0 point energy is kind of like the void space where everything is created from. So it acts both as a vacuum and as a creative expression, or the area where potential for creative expression is born. So what I'm basically trying to say here is that by merging your sense of self and creating this healthy self-concept that balances your own inner masculine and your own inner feminine, you are opening up this infinite potential and activating within you this unlimited 0-point energy, which can, now this is not going to apply to everyone, but it can show up as a Kundalini activation. It can be an activation of your own personal vital force energy as it rises up and connects to the crown chakra. So only take that if that resonates, or if that's something you've already been getting hints or nudges towards. But that's kind of what I'm seeing here for some people. The 9 of Pentacles is where I really see this energy manifesting. It's like it's coming into the physical reality. So where there's that unlimited potential and where there's that beautiful harmonious connection within the self, the balance within you creates and manifests abundance without you, i.e. outside of you. And I really see a lot of enjoyment there. There's a lot of appreciation is the word I'm hearing. Appreciation for all that you have, all that you've been able to cultivate, and also all that you've been able to receive. So not necessarily receiving from others, but just all that you've allowed yourself to create, and then by experiencing it, you're receiving it. So it's basically surrendering to the experience of it, honoring the experience of it, accepting the experience of it, and most importantly, having gratitude for the experience. That's what is really unlocking this very luxurious, beautiful, gratified, abundant energy of the 9 of Pentacles. I'm really happy for you, Libra. This is great. And then lastly, you have the World card. Brings everything full circle. The World, it really is the culmination point of the journey. So it's a major part of your soul path here, and it's coming to a point that you've kind of completed one part of that cycle. You learned the lesson, you experienced what you needed to experience, you stepped up and you empowered yourself through potentially having had challenges with these types of balance in relationships or within yourself before. And now it's like, because you've come full circle, because you've come back around to the beginning point, but from a higher perspective, there's that sense of achievement. So they're pointing me to the laurels, which represent the achievement. So it's victory. It's a celebration of getting to that end goal and being really free, ultimately, is what I'm hearing, free from any of the restrictions that came before to set you up to get to this point. I'm also seeing the O of the laurels, the shape they make is like a circle. Well, that's the shape of the void. It's the infinite energy. It's the 0 point. It's infinity. Because infinity is not 1, it's 0. Bless the ancient Greeks for creating 0. Was it the Greeks or was it the... I'm going to have to research that. I can't remember who created 0. It might have been in the Middle East, if not in Greece. Anyway. The number 0 represents that 0 point energy of unlimited potential because it's infinity. It's unmanifest infinity, but that's where you can go to create anything that you do want to have or experience or create. Yeah. Now let's take a look at your oracle card. You have a change in the wind, number 12. The essential meanings of this card are a sense that unseen change has been initiated, preparation for a storm, awareness that your plans are not on firm ground, feeling a shift, uncertainty about which direction the winds will blow. The oracle's message: it's human nature to yearn for certainty and resist change, to want the world to remain consistent like a zebra's stripes. Yet nothing in human experience is black and white, nor will anything remain static. The one thing guaranteed is change. Now is a time of transformation as outer conditions are temporarily moving out of sync with your desires and expectations. Stay the course and remember that even storms serve to clear the air. Scatter seeds and nourish the soil for better things ahead. Life is about to get interesting. Anticipate it with curiosity as you wander. Oh, no. Ooh, that's interesting. It's wonder, but I said wander. So perhaps because this is a culmination point and it's the end of a journey, you're now open to wander. That may feel a little scary. So anticipate it with curiosity. Anticipate it with curiosity as you wonder what is coming on the shifting winds. The unknown is where the magic lies. Okay, so that's really interesting because the energy of the cards that are here and the energy that I'm connecting to for the group that are watching feels very stable, feels very mature, grounded, balanced, harmonious, and that's what's creating that feeling of abundance and security and that culmination point. But I think maybe what this card is tapping into, a change in the wind, is that once you've kind of achieved something, once you've gotten to the end goal, then it's all unknown territory. It's all unexpected as to where you're going to go next. So perhaps getting to the end of this path or getting to the end of this goal is what's now kind of throwing you back into insecurity and imbalance. But that being said, it's all serving a greater purpose. It's all supporting you essentially in the ongoing process of this never-ending journey. It really is an infinite experience. And through that, through the unknown is where the magic lies. So that 0 point energy may seem daunting. It may seem unsettling to some people. But if you can look at it with the eyes of curiosity, if you can look at it with the eyes of a child who sees from nothing there can be something, there can be anything, and not get overwhelmed with that, but instead find joy in creating, then this path is really going to open up to you something truly beautiful and very satisfying for the soul. So there you have it, Libra. I hope that this reading served you, that it resonated. If it did, leave a Libra emoji or the scales of balance in the comments below to let me know that you enjoyed. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more, and we will see you next month. Bye. All right, hi Scorpio, welcome to your February monthly reading. Let's look at your cards. You have the Sun card, the Strength card, the 10 of Swords, and the 7 of Swords. Okay, so Scorpio, there's some pretty mixed energy here. It's looking like a bit of a mixed bag for February. Now that being said, I do see a lot of clarity and illumination coming here. So the Sun card is speaking to the truth coming out, information being seen in the light of day. So something that was hidden or in the dark or repressed or in the subconscious or was, not available to you to see clearly is being brought to your awareness. Now, this may require you to have strength, gentle, graceful strength within yourself to be able to address perhaps something that has been hidden or something that you didn't want to see, or maybe even something that you didn't expect to see. Maybe you had no notion that this was going on behind closed doors or underneath the surface, and now it's being brought into the light and exposed for what it is. The truth is not always a welcome visitor, but it is always needed. It is always necessary. The 10 of Swords can indicate where this truth can feel really exhausting. It's almost as though having this truth out in the open has really resulted in this hopelessness or this feeling of depletion. It can even be a sense of betrayal, feeling betrayed by someone or something, especially since you've got the 7 of Swords there as well. The 7 of Swords is deception. This is either self-deception or deception from other people. And, it kind of goes either way, because if we're deceiving ourselves, it's going to show up as other people deceiving us, and vice versa. So the 7 of Swords is a challenging energy. It can also be a thief. It can also be where energy has been taken from you, maybe that you weren't aware of. But even though the Ten of Swords is such a dark card, I do see it as a hope for a new dawn. And because you have the Sun card here, there's a definite promise of that. So even if you are in the darkest part of this journey, or this is something that comes to light that really shocks and appalls you, just know that it's the ending of a cycle. The Ten of Swords is the ending of that cycle and the beginning of a different cycle. The 10 leads into the 1, which is the Ace of Swords, which isn't technically here, but it's the truth. It's what brings you this new awareness, and it gives you the opportunity to start fresh. Having the awareness and the understanding that you now have, you can make better decisions. So despite the fact that this may be painful and require you to have strength to address this truth or the situation or whatever it is, ultimately it's going to serve you by strengthening your capacity to handle the truth. It's like, you can't handle the truth. Well, now you can, Scorpio, and you are a deep diver. Scorpios in your sun, moon, or rising, whatever it happens to be, whatever drew you to this part of the reading. The energy of Scorpio is not one to shy away from the darker aspects of the self or other people. Scorpios tend to have an innate and natural capacity to stomach the unaccepted parts of ourselves or others. And by doing that, sometimes maybe you don't see as clearly as you may think, because by going into the darkness, you're willing to see through in the darkness, but you might not see everything that's there, and you might not understand it fully until it's brought back into the light. So keep your mind open to the information that you're receiving subconsciously through your dreams. In moments of daydreaming is also what I'm seeing. So you might have realizations or information that's wanting to come through to give you clarity on situations. Pay attention to your body as well, as it can give you a lot of information. And there's Kitty. Kitty, come down, please. She wants to be right up on the table as I'm doing the reading. She wants to be involved. And you know what's interesting is that as I was kind of moving her out of the way, or allowing her to kind of get out of the way on her own, I was drawn to the lion on the strength card. So feline energy may be involved here. You may be tapping into your psychic senses, because felines can have a representation as being very psychic, very sensitive, and very receptive. So tune into your cat-like psychic or heightened sensory abilities to be able to discern what the truth is of this situation, and ultimately to accept it for what it is. Okay, so let's take a look at your oracle card. You have serendipity. I love that. So this is number 18. The essential meanings of this card are opportunity allied with readiness, the awareness of synchronicity, luck and good fortune appearing as signs and symbols, a magical alignment of events. The oracle's message is, you've stepped into alignment with the greater good, where your dreams and the collective dream resonate in exquisite harmony. Now is the time for luck and preparation to meet and create miracles that you could never have planned all by yourself. Keep in mind that you are a channel for providence right now, as a higher energy uses you as a force on behalf of the whole world. Your fortune becomes everyone's fortune. Everything you bring into being now will leave a wondrous legacy for others in the future. Your service to the world is being supported at this time. Expect the unexpected and smile, for Spirit loves you so very much. Oh, that's so great to hear, Scorpio. I'm really, really happy, and I'm rooting for you guys, because this does look like, yes, you're dealing with some darker energies, and you may be doing this through the collective. You may be doing this through, a situation that's more personal. Really just depends on the person. But there's a divine alignment here that is not in question, right? When you've got the Sun and the Strength card back to back, that is very, very divine protection. And it even mentioned, what did it say? Providence. Yeah, you are a channel for providence right now, as a higher energy uses as a force on behalf of the world. Yes, so you have capacity to tune into higher truths. You have capacity to access the light of source within you, to unlock perhaps hidden information or to clarify distorted information. So thank you for doing that for yourself and for the collective. I also want to mention one last thing. The Strength card and the Sun both represent Leo. So if you have Leo in your chart, I would also go and watch that reading. Or if you're dealing with a Leo, perhaps there's a Leo who's part of this equation or this situation. But archetypally, Leo just represents strength, courage, compassion, and being in the spotlight a little bit as well. The Sun card can also represent being in the spotlight. So again, it's illumination in all of the contexts of that word. Okay, so have a very serendipitous February, Scorpio. I am wishing you all the best for this month and beyond. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next month. Bye, guys. All right, hi, Ophiuchus. Welcome to your February monthly reading. Back by popular demand, we are adding your sign to the roster. So let's go ahead and look at your cards. You have the Knight of Pentacles reversed, the Nine of Swords, the Five of Swords, and the Six of Wands. Okay, so first things first, what I'm seeing here is a worry or stress over money. On the bottom of the deck, as I was putting it down, the Five of Pentacles was there as well. So feeling like you don't have enough or experiencing the physical or the internal feeling of lack. That's something that I'm picking up on pretty clearly here. So the Knight of Pentacles is in the reversed position, kind of calling your attention to areas where you are feeling that lack, where you may even be perpetuating that lack, and really kind of allowing yourself to sink into the sorrow or the hopelessness of not having enough. Now, that's leading to the Nine of Swords, of course. This is mental stress, right? When we feel a lack of security or when we're worrying constantly about where, the next meal is going to come from or where the rent is going to come from or how we're going to maintain, the lifestyle that we have, this can really bring up a lot of this unconscious fear and it will stir up the mind. And if it's not being addressed consciously and intentionally, it will do so in a more subverted way. It will come up through the dream state. It will come up through the nighttime when you're winding down and you're trying to get ready to go to sleep and your mind won't stop with the worries and the stress and the fear. So those are the times that you want to address. You want to look at what's coming up in those moments so that you can, during the daytime, productively address what this feeling, this experience, and this fear is trying to teach you or trying to support you in understanding. So the Five of Swords here as well. Both the Nine of Swords and the Five of Swords are very challenging energies. The Nine of Swords is stress and worry and sleeplessness and even insomnia. And the Five of Swords is conflict. So if you're feeling stressed constantly and you're feeling that you don't have enough, or maybe you don't have a sense of direction, or you're just frustrated with the way things are and you're losing sleep over it or not resting fully, because even if you're sleeping, what's the quality of that sleep? What's the quality of that rest like for you? Are you feeling replenished and rejuvenated when you wake up? Are you feeling as though it was a productive night of astral traveling, or were you really stuck in the mires of your own mind? The Five of Swords can be a result or a symptom of that showing up through your relationships with other people. It's conflict, it's debate turned into egoic separation. It's trying to win arguments for the sake of being right. And all of these things can come when we are stressed, right? We are not operating from our highest potential when we are stressed, when we are in lack, and when we have fear. The part of our brain that seeks connection and understanding and higher self-regulation capacity completely shuts down, especially if we're sleep deprived or we've been in this state of stress chronically. It's really going to manifest as symptoms, and those symptoms can show up either physically with health issues, which can even exacerbate even more the fear of lack, because health is a version of wealth. Health is wealth. Money is no good if your health is shot. So it can also show up symptomatically in how we relate to other people, the quality of our relationships, The quality of our thoughts as well. I mean, these are both swords cards, so this is the realm of thought. What are the quality of your thoughts? Are they positive or are they negative? Are they on a loop? And is that loop of thoughts serving you? These are the questions that I would highly encourage you to ask yourself this month. Because when you do, you are opening up the potential to come out of this victorious, to come out of this with a sense of accomplishment, having understood what was creating the imbalance and dealing with it head on, rather than burying your head in the sand. Being intentional and direct with yourself, and then by proxy with other people, is helping you to gain a sense of, it feels like confidence to me. Yeah, it feels like confidence. And when your confidence in yourself improves, when you can trust yourself to have positive thoughts, when you can trust yourself and rely on yourself to create wealth, to manifest and receive the abundance that you need and deserve, when you can trust yourself to be the bigger person when somebody comes at you and just see it as a symptom of their own pain or suffering, that really instills a deep, deep set of security. It's self-security. And that's what is wanting or needing to be derived from this experience. Because the Knight of Pentacles in reverse is insecurity. Insecurity financially, insecurity with your health, insecurity with your direction or your goals, etc. It's an inverted horse. It's a horse with nowhere to go. And that's obviously going to stir up some fear. But the Six of Wands at the end of the reading here, so what I kind of look at this as the outcome position, is an upright horse. And it's a horse that is intent on its direction. And it's actually, in fact, reached its destination. It's returned victorious. So this month it's challenging you, okay? It is challenging you to address those patterns, those programs, those thought cycles that continue to perpetuate lack. The challenge, though, comes with an equal reward. So allow yourself to move through this with intention, to get curious rather than to resist and continue to be frustrated or stressed. Allow yourself to explore the themes of this experience and look at it as a reader doing a critical analysis of a novel. Read between the lines here. Extract the deeper meaning in the symbolism. Find the theme and then work backwards from there to find the result, to find the resolution, that's the word, resolution of these thoughts, of these patterns, of these cycles. And thereby, empower yourself. Come out of this victorious, confident, secure in your ability to handle even what goes on in your own mind. And thereby, what happens in your life around you. Okay, so let's take a look at your oracle card. You guys have Fork in the Road, number 13. The essential meanings of this card are time to make a decision, considering the consequences as you prepare to act, owning up to your obligation to make a necessary choice. The oracle's message is this: every choice has a consequence. You've arrived at a fork in the road and are being asked to come to a decision. Will you further your dreams by choosing left or by choosing right? Will you take the road less traveled or the one well worn by others who have come before you? This is your choice and yours alone to make. Circumstances and other people will not make it for you. Be present and do not avoid this junction, for it is an important crossroads. Take heart, as no matter which path you choose, you will have a rich and meaningful experience. I think that pretty much sums it up. I think the fork in the road card did a really great job of putting into not so many words what I was saying in so many words. So I hope that this reading served you and supports you on your journey through February and beyond. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more readings, and we will see you next month. Bye. All right, hi Sagittarius. Welcome to your February monthly reading. Let's take a look at your cards. You have the Moon card, the King of Cups, the Seven of Swords, and the Ten of Pentacles. So this is an interesting sort of mixed bag of energy here that you have for the month of February. The first thing that I'm noticing is that there's a lot of intuitive energy around this reading. So I feel a deep sense of inner knowing that you're tapping into at this time. So this could be through dreams, or it could be through psychic awareness, intentionally through meditation or through psychic work. Some of you may be psychics for a living, or do tarot readings, or do energy healing, or even astrology. But I'm seeing it more so as like the psychic aspect of any of those lines of work. If that's something that you do, and again, this isn't going to apply to everyone, but for the individual or individuals who are here that do that, what I'm seeing is to be aware of deceptive energies, not deception from other people, more so just anything that's trying to subvert your focus, anything that's trying to distort what you're picking up on. So if it comes from fear, it's a distortion, it's a subversion. Anything that seeks to separate, even if it's seeking to separate with the guise of, being of the light, don't trust that. Anything that comes from love is truth, and that's it. That's the bottom line. If it's not love, it's not the truth. Yes, we can have darkness. Yes, we can have very low vibrational energies, but when we see them through the eyes of love, we are seeing the highest truth, that we are all one. So if you're doing any psychic work this month, or just in general, be mindful of the energy of the messages, or the energy of the visions, or the energy of the channeled information, okay? Next, I'm also seeing that the subconscious mind is trying to bring something to the surface here. So there may be something that you have repressed within you, and this could be connected to your family line. So this is more of a general, again, these are all general readings anyway, but this could also be for a specific group of you who are watching. So there could be some emotional programming or trauma that is wanting to kind of come up to be felt and processed. Especially to do with the male side of the family. So the paternal line, the father, the grandfather, etc. So look to that ancestry line to see where there has been trauma, or where there has been programming that has been passed down, either through experience, through upbringing, or through the DNA. Especially if you have psychic capacity to look into DNA, I would definitely recommend doing that, because it can give you some deeper insight into where there may be programs of lack or limitation or self-deception, or the distortion of the truth of love and unity. So seeing things as separate, seeing things as us versus them, or seeing things as dark versus light. These are distortions of the truth. They are truths in and of themselves, but they're not the highest truth. The highest truth is love. So come back into your heart center to really access that higher truth. When you see and feel it, you will know. I just heard that. When you see and feel it, you will know. Not just one or the other. That King of Cups is helping you do that. He's helping you to tune into your extrasensory abilities. He's helping you to tune into your inner feelings, as your feelings are messengers. They are information. Emotion is energy in motion, and energy seeks to bring awareness to things that need to be understood. Now, the Moon card can make that a bit more challenging, because we don't see things quite as clearly in the moonlight as we would in the sunlight. However, the moon is a luminary, And when the moon is big and bright enough, it can serve to light our way, even in the darkness. So use that light wherever you can find it, as long as it's married with the energy of love. Because light alone is not always positive. It's love and then light that is truly the highest expression. Okay, I also see offering. This could be ancestral rituals. So if any of you are into doing like altar worship or anything like that, that's not really my bag. I'm not disciplined enough to be able to do that, quite frankly. But if any of you are into, like creating an altar for your ancestors, or creating an altar to a goddess or deity, or to God in general, you can go ahead and do that this month with the intention of bringing awareness to any patterns from the ancestral line that are distorting the highest truth and your ability to access it. That's really going to help you in the long run to come back into your own state of empowerment and to feel and see the truth of the situation and be able to remove yourself from the repeating cycle of those patterns. They're not necessarily karmic patterns in the specific sense that you've activated them through your choices and actions, but they can be perpetuated through your choices and actions when those remain unconscious, or where the motivations of those remain unconscious. So the ancestral healing is mostly what I see here. And when you do that, it's going to unlock not only the limiting programs that are held within your ancestral line, but it's also going to unlock the abundance programs within your ancestry. So it's going to unlock the knowledge, the skills, the wisdom that each individual that came before you had developed. It's not all bad, right? When we open Pandora's box, we get a mixed bag. It's a little bit of light, it's a little bit of dark, and that's part of unity. It's dualistic in this time frame, in this space-time reality. But if we can choose to look at the dark and honor how that's developing us into more love, more understanding, and more connection, that's what really creates the positive results that we're here to experience. Okay, so let's take a look at your oracle card. Oh, interesting. Yeah, you've got 37, which is never-ending story. The essential meanings are self-criticism, the wounded ego, and unnecessary dramas. The oracle's message is this: there is a story woven through the imperfect fabric of life that tells of hurt and loss, rejection and humiliation, self-loathing and arrogance, and all manner of suffering born of unnecessary dramas. It is the old story whose refrain is that you cannot do this, must not go there, should not say that, lest your world come crumbling down. Today, know that none of this is actually true. The sky is not falling. The voice you hear is just a small, scared, conditioned part of you that got stuck in a lie, wants to protect you, and needs to be seen as a victim. Love that lost piece of you. Fear is all it knows. Distorted guidance is preventing you from being true to yourself. You are not your story, and the narrator is simply the voice of your fearful part, small and vulnerable and easily soothed. Oh, I just love this so much. I don't look at the meanings of the cards. I just pull the card and then set it aside until I'm done the reading, and then we read it together. This is really perfect because it's detailing exactly what I was picking up on energetically, is that, you're stepping out of these old patterns, these old programs, these old limitations, and clearing away the distortions that have possibly even come from far, far before you and just been passed down. So look to where you can step out of those distorted messages that you've received possibly as internal guidance, and understand and acknowledge that not everything that you receive is clear. Not everything you receive is ultimately the highest truth, but everything that you receive will hold a piece of that truth. And if you can step back from it and see the bigger picture and detach yourself from these programs and limitations, you can really start to unlock that infinite potential to see the highest truth and to access that within all truths. Because ultimately, all truths are true, and the highest truth is knowing that. It's all love. It's all true. We're here as divine creators. We get to make our story. So if this story has been going on for too long, it's time to stop it. It's time to change the story. You are the narrator, you are the writer, and you're also the character in this story. So you get to choose how you want to proceed from here. Have compassion for yourself and the parts of you that have stayed in this fear, that have lived in this lack. Have compassion for the parts of you that have been stuck. And for yourself. All right, Sagittarius, that is your reading for February. I really hope that it brought you some guidance, some support, whatever it was that you needed. I'm sending you so much love for the months of February and beyond, and we will see you next month. Bye, guys. All right, hi Capricorn, welcome to your February monthly reading. You have the Nine of Pentacles, the Emperor card, the Nine of Swords, and the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, so the first thing I'm noticing, the two first things I'm noticing is, first of all, that there's two nines in your reading, and also that there's two Pentacles cards, and those are the ones that are really drawing my attention here. So the nines represent the closing or the ending of a cycle. It can be a point of completion. It can also represent service to others. So that's a lesser known meaning of the number 9. It's an empowered service expression to support and help others, and it can be philanthropic, it can be humanitarian. So those types of energies can also be represented by the number 9. So the other aspect of this is the Pentacles. I see one very abundant, self-sufficient, independent, Pentacle energy, and then I see one that's a little bit stuck, a little bit in lack, not moving forward, feeling a real sense of I'm also picking up on the word begrudging, like begrudgingly digging your heels in or resisting something, even stubbornly. So it's really interesting because the reading seems to be divided quite literally in half. You've got the Nine of Pentacles and the Emperor on one side, and then you've got the Nine of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles on the other. This feels like an evolved, mature side and an unevolved, immature side. Functional, empowered expression versus dysfunctional, disempowered expression. And one is not greater or lesser than the other. They're just different sides of the polarity. So these two sides may be playing out within you. You can be a multifaceted being. You can both be confident, strong, and stable and secure, and at the same time be insecure, fearful, and experience lack or the feeling of it. So these two experiences or emotions are not mutually exclusive. They really can exist at the same time. And it's the healed part of you that can help the unhealed part of you to come back into balance. So when I see these two opposing energies, the first place I go is inward, right? I want to know how this is showing up within you, where this lies in your subconscious, how this is sitting or playing in your energy field, right? So usually that's in the solar plexus. I also see the sacral chakra here and the third eye. So the Pentacles cards are representing the solar plexus, which is your ability to feel independent, confident in yourself, have high self-esteem, and therefore a feeling of abundance and direction. And energy, really, motivation to be able to move towards your goals. The sacral chakra, I'm feeling that from the Emperor energy here. So this is like this feeling of I can choose how to experience my reality because I'm in control of it. So a little bit of solar plexus, but also sacral chakra. And the third eye chakra is showing up as a bit distorted here with the Nine of Swords. So not seeing things clearly, being in fear or having these really sort of negative thoughts that are creeping in, especially at night. This can indicate that there's distortion or blockage or energy buildup in the third eye chakra, front or back. I'm seeing specifically the front. The front is the feeling center. So this can be how you feel about what you're seeing or what you perceive as the truth. That can distort things, right? Because if we see the truth and we feel strongly towards it, that can create a lot of egoic resistance, and that can activate the unhealed or wounded parts of ourself that still exist there. And it's okay to still have those parts. We're all on a journey. None of us are one perfect being. We are multifaceted, multi-layered, multi-dimensional beings experiencing all of these different aspects of self through this lifetime. So what I want to say, Capricorn, is go easy on yourself. I think that a lot of the time Capricorn can be so hell-bent on doing everything perfectly and being productive and really, taking charge and getting shit done, to the point that it can really actually set you back in the long run, because there can be this sort of overpowering need to do and to have and to be, where what's actually needed is a balance between doing and then pulling back and resting or enjoying, for this matter, because the Nine of Pentacles is about enjoyment. The Nine of Pentacles isn't striving and working and doing all of these things. She's just enjoying the garden. She's having a moment to just be in the present moment and experience that, and to smell the roses and to, feel her feet on the grass and to connect with her own sense of satisfaction and the discipline that allowed her to get there. Yes, of course, but also honoring and respecting that you can put that down for a moment and just enjoy what the results have been, rather than continuing to just keep going all the time, having only one gear, right? You've got to be able to shift down sometimes and then trust yourself to be able to shift back up when necessary. Take things slow sometimes. They're drawing my attention to the little tiny snail in the Nine of Pentacles card, right down by her foot there. So take things slow sometimes. Know that you have security no matter where you go. You've got that shell on your back. Capricorns, you're very resourceful. I will give you that. If there's one thing that I admire about Capricorns, it is their resourcefulness. You have such a high capacity to create abundance in your life and to manifest and to work towards with discipline what you'd like to achieve. And you do. Every Capricorn I've ever met, for the most part, if they're in the empowered expression, they really do have a strong sense of self and a real clear knowing of what they want. And they go after it and they don't stop until they get it. And I really, really admire that. That's that Emperor energy as well. It's like being in control of your reality, being in control of your life and yourself and what you do on a daily basis. Now, the low vibe Capricorn energy, and remember, we all have both, or we all have the capacity to experience both at the very least. The low vibe Capricorn energy is feeling lack and not wanting to work for what you desire, or feeling depleted by the type of work that you're doing or how you're doing it. And sometimes it's not even what you're doing, it's how you're doing it, or more importantly, why you're doing it. Yeah, that Knight of Pentacles in reverse to me is really coming through as shadow energy. So this is a deeper, more subconscious part of the self, a younger part of the self, especially if you're more mature. If you're older and you've kind of gone through this process and you've developed this sense of confidence and security within yourself, and you've built up an empire, if you've built up a legacy and you have money to show for it, really in reality, if there is any fear or worry, it is just coming from a younger version of you who maybe didn't have those things at the time. So see if you can hold compassion and a space for that part of yourself to come forward and communicate to you directly how it's feeling, because the circumstances may not match how you're feeling about them. So for example, you could have this beautiful house and money in the bank and a wonderful job that you enjoy doing. And then sometimes you just feel like you don't have enough, or you're just feeling as though there's something missing, or there's fear around losing it all. And that's that younger part of the self. It's a part of the shadow self that is needing your support to benefit from that sense of security you've developed over all these years. It's a part of you that's stuck in the past, or stuck in an imaginary past, an imaginary future even, where the needs are not met. But what I do see is that they are. The needs are and will be met. Just remember to create balance. That being said, the oracle card you guys got is To Be Fair. And the essential meanings are balance, justice, a need to consider options, mutual benefit, and the law of cause and effect. So the Oracle's message is this: life offers experiences that are challenging and experiences that are nourishing. Yet over time, they strike a balance. You move from being, from stasis, to doing, from discovery to loving to letting go to being again. Life is a pendulum swinging between all of these states. You will always oscillate back and forth between doing and being. If you are not content with what you are at this moment, remember that all experiences have their place. Accept them without judgment, and you will see how the universe adjusts in perfect balance. You reap what you sow. For every cause, there is an effect. Wondrous things will be revealed now. Yeah, I love that because I don't read the messages of the Oracle cards. I just looked at the name and the number of it so I could save the spot in the book. And then read it together. But yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. So it's finding balance, and even the cards, the way they're laid out, right? It's one side positive, mature, functional, the other side negative, distorted, younger, less mature, those kinds of things. So it's these different levels of experience, these different states of our own being. And like I said, allowing more time for being rather than constantly doing, because I know Capricorns, you guys are very productive people. I really do admire that. So I'm sending you so much love for February and beyond, and I hope that you have a wonderful 2023. So lots of love, and we'll see you guys next month. Bye guys. All right, hi Aquarius, welcome to your February monthly reading. You have the Two of Cups, the Temperance card, the Five of Cups, and the Page of Wands. So Aquarius, this month I'm seeing a lot of attempts to balance, especially as it relates to your feelings. So the Two of Cups here, it feels to me like there's a need to find balance within relationships, and where that really starts is the relationship we have with ourselves. So finding balance within you is going to help you to address your balance in the outside world. Now, this balance relates to both your needs and your wants. It relates to your feminine and your masculine polarity, being versus doing. That also came up in the Capricorn reading, but in a different way. And I also see this as, balance between give and take. The Temperance card is speaking of balance as well, but in a slightly different way. The Temperance card to me feels like you're trying to find the right mixture between the two cups that are present here in the Two of Cups, right? These two people are bringing different aspects of themselves to the table, laying it out in these goblets, and then the angel on Temperance is taking those goblets and going, okay, let's mix these together and see how that's going to work. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Oop, that's too much of this. Let's take some of that out and put a little bit of more of this in. It's a little bit of a it can be a scientific process because there is process and elimination, there is testing, and we do need to be objective through that. But it can also be a little bit of a messy process where we don't know what the outcome is going to be, and we don't know how we're going to strike that balance effectively. So we do just kind of have to try and see what works. And the whole process of science and testing and, creating data sets is by testing and a theory and seeing if it holds up or if it fails without attachment to the outcome. I think that's the ultimate way to find information is, to be completely unbiased and to just accept what information you find and then try to keep replicating that or expand on it as best as you can. It's funny that I'm bringing up science because we're talking about emotional energy here, which is not scientific. I mean, you can try to measure it, but most of our knowledge about emotions is either subjective or biological, for example, measuring neuronal responses, measuring hormones, measuring, the body. That really is the only way that we can sort of more finitely measure the experience of emotions, but you can't really measure love. You can't really measure fear in the non-biological sense in the experience of it, right? We can't really quantify that as effectively as we could, say, measuring a physical thing. It's just a completely different It's a completely different data set. And it's funny to me because I'm talking about emotions through a scientific lens, and that is just so Aquarius. And I know firsthand because I've got my moon sign is in Aquarius at 0 degrees. So I very much enjoy looking through the lens of the intellect at my own emotions. And I can bet that there's a part of you that does that too, because that's what's coming up. So, seeing scientifically how to interpret emotions can be useful. It can give you a lot of information, but it can also sometimes stop us from actually just experiencing them. So we have to strike a balance between feeling and thinking. And even though there's no swords cards here, there's no air in your reading. It's mostly water, if anything. I mean, temperance, we could technically kind of classify that as an air sign, but even just on the card, like the water element is what I'm seeing the most. And you've got 2 cups cards and then the Page of Wands out of nowhere, which we'll talk about. But what I see here is really, there's a lot of emotion that needs to be addressed. And if you want to do that scientifically, fine. If you want to do it intellectually, that's okay. I would also encourage that you explore what that feels like in your body, or explore what those emotions mean to you and why. So just digging a little deeper to try and discern all of the parts within this mixture. Because emotions are not straightforward. They're anything but. Really, they can be chaotic, they can be seemingly random. They're not, but if we don't intellectually understand why we're feeling something, it can feel very chaotic. It can be, we can experience it as very random. So experience, feel, and then analyze. And let go of any attachment as well, perhaps to disappointment, loss, grief, any of those emotions that have kind of taken you away from yourself or away from other people and experiencing the balance. Because I do see that with the 5 of Cups and the 2 of Cups here, this could have been a relationship that didn't turn out how you hoped it would. It could be, a partnership of some kind that was disappointing, or where there was a loss. Either way, it's bringing up a lot of emotional information to process through, to keep it in the lens of science. Now, let's talk about this Page of Wands, because this doesn't really seem to fit with the rest of the reading or with the rest of the cards that are here, but it does in a way, because the Page of Wands is an explorer. He's an adventurer. He's open for anything. He just wants to experience it, and he learns through experience. He's also in beginner mindset, which is really important to facilitate learning, because if you are in a mindset where you already know it all, you're not going to be open to seeing things or learning things that maybe you didn't know. So to be in the beginner mindset is to open yourself up to that which you don't know or that which you don't see, and to get curious and even excited in exploring what that unknown territory holds. So it feels exciting to me, or at the very least anticipatory. So you can choose how you want to experience or approach that energy. But it does feel like there's an opportunity here for new awareness of your inner realms, especially the emotional realm, but also how you relate to other people in relationships, how the relationship dynamics unfold. And this could be learning about attachment styles for you this month. Maybe you're looking into, secure attachment versus fearful avoidant attachment or anxious attachment, and what those mean, and how that applies to you and your relationship dynamics with other people. And the information that goes behind that can help you to process your emotions. So it may not be that specifically, that's just an example, but I do see a potential for learning, which does deepen your experience of feeling. So that's fun. Okay, let's take a look at your oracle card. You've got number 2, yin. Yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah, so that's talking about the feminine essence of feeling. Let's read the card. Essential meanings are the feminine principle of receptivity, letting someone else make the first move, gathering information and taking in cues, and the art of conscious allowing. The Oracle's message is this. This is a time of calculated receptivity as you gracefully await what is coming to you, ready to accept it when it appears. Yin does not involve frozen dreams or even resting, but rather consciously allowing things to flow to you, poised to receive the bounty that will be made available to you. It implies sensitivity as you alertly study the actions of others and contemplate how they will affect you and yours. Remember, you must make space for miracles to appear. Be the shaped, not the shaper, and you'll see how quickly your dreams manifest. Okay, so that just really confirms on so many different levels what was coming through in the reading, especially this aspect of contemplating how others' actions affect you. That's really what I'm seeing there with the Two of Wands, with the Five of Cups, the Temperance card, even what I was saying with the Page of Wands. Yeah, so thank you, Spirit, for confirming this with the Oracle card, because that's just perfect. I love that. So allow yourself to be in receptivity this month and open up to learning and experiencing and feeling. And that contemplation is going to give you more context and more awareness going forward around your relationships, both with yourself and with other people. All right, Aquarius, that is your reading for February. I really hope that it resonated and that it supported you in some way, and I will see you next month. Thank you so much. Bye. All right, hi Pisces, welcome to your February monthly reading. You got the Four of Cups, the King of Pentacles, the Hanged Man, and the Five of Wands. Okay, so the first thing I'm seeing here is a little bit of frustration. Well, at least that's what I'm feeling. Frustration and resistance, possibly from feeling as though things aren't moving forward in the way that you'd hoped that they would. You may feel as though you're being denied something that you've worked for, or being denied something that you deserve. It's interesting because none of these cards really say that explicitly, but that's what I'm picking up on. So let's go through them one by one. The Four of Cups, this is where I'm getting that energy of being denied something or feeling as though it's not there. It's like you've got the Three Cups, but you worked for four. You should have four. Why aren't there four there? Well, it's there. It's just you're not seeing it, or you're not feeling it, or it's not showing up in the way that you expected that it would. So especially because the cup is being offered, by the universe through the air, and he's not looking at that in the card, this can indicate that it's coming from an unexpected source, or it hasn't showed up yet in the physical reality, or even that it has showed up, but you're not seeing it. And so you're not taking it, you're not accepting it, you're not receiving it because you don't see it. The King of Pentacles here, normally the King of Pentacles is security and abundance and, generosity and all these things. What I'm picking up from him now in this reading, it almost feels like this energy of, no, too good for you, I'm not going to look down on the peasants and give them any money. They need to figure it out for themselves. That's what I'm getting from him, which is odd because I've never picked up on that energy from the King of Pentacles before. But he just almost looks like, let them eat cake, Like let the peasants eat cake. They can't afford bread, let them eat cake. And it's this weird energy that I'm getting from him where it's this sense of almost like entitlement, like he's entitled to the money that he has, and if other people don't have it, that means they're not entitled to it. It's a very strange energy. So I'm not saying that this is the energy that you have or that you're in. It feels like this may be something that's surrounding the issue, or this could be somebody who's influencing it from the outside, especially since we've got the Five of Cups. Because the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is conflict with other people, disagreements, even having too many cooks in the kitchen, too many ideas about a different thing or how to do something, and not seeing eye to eye. Now, again, it's like the king is not seeing eye to eye with the workers, with the peasants, if you will, right? He's not seeing eye to eye with them because he doesn't believe that he's on the same level as them. This could be where there's a missing link here. This could be where there is a distortion that needs to be cleared. The offer of what it is that you desire or what it is that you're seeking or even feel that you're lacking is being presented to you, but you may not be seeing it because you are either perceiving it from a separated sense. What I mean by that is you're not on eye level with it. And that doesn't mean you need to bring yourself down. Although I did just hear the word humble. It's like humble yourself to get down and to see the situation at eye level, to see it more clearly. Interesting. It's not, yeah, and the Four of Cups can also mean feeling entitled to something as well. It's like being bored with what you have, being dissatisfied. And underneath that can be a sense of entitlement. Like, I deserve to have such and such a thing. And so because of that, I'm disappointed that it's not here. Ooh, this is I feel uncomfortable even talking about this. And I'm a Pisces sun myself, so that I probably have to look a little deeper at this, although this is not something that I would have expected. I'm usually on the other end of the spectrum. But we all have all parts within ourselves, so there may be a part here that needs to be addressed. The Hanged Man is giving the opportunity to do that. I feel like the Hanged Man is a gift from the universe here that's giving you like a stop moment to halt, cease and desist all action, and focus on this disparity of sight, this oversight. Oh, that's another one. Oversight. Not seeing something because you haven't gotten onto that eye level or you haven't seen it from that perspective. And that's what the Hanged Man does. He forces you to see things from a different perspective, and he makes you stop and do it. Whether you want to or not. That's why the Hanged Man can feel uncomfortable, because if we don't want to be there, if we don't want to stop, if we don't want to see that, it can feel almost like a punishment. But really, in reality, it's an opportunity. It's a gift. It's a period of time that you can stop and be still and see something from a perspective you normally would not have if you weren't suspended in this way. And I think that the realization here, or the shift in perspective, is ultimately going to help you in how you relate to other people or how other people relate to you, and change how you approach the dynamics of feast or famine, us or them, me against the world. These are the types of themes that I'm hearing. And again, it's not necessarily like the Lord and the tenant, but it's more like separation. It's separation energy. And the separation comes from the distorted perspective. Yeah. Interesting. So, let me see what else is here. Yeah, it feels like surrender is called for here. Just surrender, let go of the expectations, let go of the feeling that something should be a certain way when it's not that way. Just accept what is, even if it's uncomfortable, even if you don't feel like it's enough, because in accepting it for what it is, in surrendering in the moment, and in humbling yourself and being able to get down on eye level with somebody else, or in this case, see it through God's eyes. That's what I'm seeing and hearing. See it through God's eyes and know that this is happening for a reason, because it's teaching something. It's allowing you to have an experience that you can then use and gain knowledge through. That's what the Hanged Man does. It gives you knowledge. No doubt about that. You can do it kicking or screaming. You can do it dragging your feet. You can do it that way, for sure. But, I mean, it's going to be faster and maybe a little less painful if you just kind of surrender to it and allow this process to take its place. Allow yourself to open up and see things from a different perspective, humbling yourself while at the same time acknowledging that there are things that you desire. There are things that you do deserve. You are worthy. But that doesn't make you any better than anybody else. because we're all one. Interesting information here. It's very complex, this reading, Pisces, and I wouldn't have it any other way because Pisces, very complex energy. It's the 12th sign of the zodiac, and it makes, or 13th if you're including Ophiuchus, and so it makes up a little piece of every single one of those energies. So it's very complex. It's very multifaceted, the Piscean energy. And this is one of those times where I'm tapping into that and I'm left in awe. Like, I'm going to have to sit with this and go a little deeper to understand it myself. So I hope that you can use the information here to do the same for you. But before we finish up here, let's take a look at the oracle card you have. Oh yeah, so this one is the only oracle card in reverse that we had out of all the readings today. So it's a leg up, but it's in reverse. So I'm going to read the essential meaning, the oracle message, and then I'm going to read the protection message, because that's what the reversed meaning is as well. Okay, so a leg up is receiving help, delegating authority, and interdependence. Oh, this is adding a whole new flavor to the reading. Okay, the oracle's message: you've come to a point where going it alone is no longer optimal for you. Life has a way of presenting you with the perfect people to align with who can give you a leg up during this next phase of your journey. Help comes to you in all the areas of your life where you need a boost. The trick is to accept that aid so freely given. When you embrace interdependence, allowing teamwork and independence to commingle, miracles happen. Now is such a time. Okay, so let's read the reversal message as well. Are you always insisting on doing everything yourself? Do you have little faith that help will come, convinced that the burden of the world is doomed to remain on your shoulders? Your beliefs about going it alone need to be discarded, as they do not serve you at all. Let others help you. Yes, it will make you feel vulnerable to admit you need a helping hand, but to be vulnerable is good, for you have a lesson to learn. You must let someone else assist. You cannot do life all by yourself. Once you shift your expectations, you'll be amazed how quickly help arrives to give you a leg up. Oh God, yeah, that really hits home for me. I've been seeing in my own life the theme of islands. And I was wondering, does this mean I need a vacation? I don't have the money to afford a vacation. And now I'm realizing it's because I've been trying to exist as an island. And hyper independent as I am, it's very uncomfortable for me to accept help. So if you're like that, this could apply to you as well. If it doesn't resonate, that's fine, don't take it. But I do see that it's almost, okay, so this was external energy. It's not that you are the one saying, let them eat cake. It's that you have been in the peasant role where you've needed help and you've asked for help and it wasn't provided by those who were in a position of authority or a position to help you. And so you had to learn to go it alone, to do it yourself. And this ultimately really commingled or really reduced down into this feeling of separation and of lack and even disappointment. And then not asking for your needs to be met or not asking for that to show up, even though you deserve it, maybe you don't feel like you do. So this shift in perspective is allowing you to come into harmony with other people so you can work together to build something together. Because the Five of Wands, when in its lower vibrational expression, is conflict. It's too many people with too many different ideas not being able to come together towards a common goal. Whereas in the higher expression of the energy, it's practice. It can be, sparring or working towards, betterment together. It can also be friendly competition, or it can be teamwork. So really, this makes so much sense. I'm really glad that we had that oracle card to really kind of give us a perspective of the reading that's very clear, because it was feeling very muddled and complex, and that oracle card really summed it up nicely. Okay. Great. Sometimes that's all you need. Context. Oh, and that's the whole point, isn't it? That's the whole point. The whole reading was that it was a little bit distorted. I was having a hard time discerning what the message was. And there was bits and pieces there, but it felt really complex. And then it was like, boom, you have this perspective shift, and now it all makes sense. It's just, I was looking at it from the wrong angle. Oh, that's so funny. I love how spirit works. All right, guys, that is your reading for February. Let me know how it resonated in the comments below if you feel called to, and if not, I wish you all of the love for February and beyond, and we'll see you next month. Bye, guys.